Shalom. I'd like to begin first and foremost by saying Barakatah, Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham, Rakakadosh. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone, and salutations to the sincere Aki. I'm pushing this truth with no due diligence and sincerity. Yo, I was in South Tottenham as well yesterday, right? On the work event. I was in not South Tottenham, South London. So like, yo, I was in South London after a work event. And I happened to, what did happen? I happened to go into, let's just call it a heavily Israelite populated area. Well, they were niggers, and these weren't even Israelites, they were niggers. A heavily Jake populated area in the UK called Lewisham in South London. And brothers know I joke about it all the time. Like, I always talk about how fucked up South London is. London in general, wherever Jake are at. But hey, where Jake are around in high populations, it tends to be fucked up over there. Excuse me. So yeah, man, I was talking about like just pretty much how fucked up the situation is down there in South London, right? You just got Jake all kind of jacked up, fucked up, like it's a mess. And in a nutshell, it just got me thinking, man, about, you know, the fact that the curses are really taking a hold of us, man. The curses of Deuteronomy 28, man. Because we're still under those curses to this day. We're at the end of our punishment. You know, we drank the dregs. You know, we're taking over the bit of, you know, like you might have a drink with some ice in it, finish the drink, but the ice has been retained some of the flavor of the shit, and it melts, and we're still drinking the ice to finish the drink. That's the kind of stage that we're at right now, man. You know, we're nearly at our glory, but until we get in there, ultimately, man, we're just gonna have to bear the suffering. But it just got me thinking about even going back to the time of the Babylonians, because Jeremiah tried to warn Israel, man. He tried to warn them about what was going to happen unto them if they kept on doing wickedness, and ultimately he wasn't going to stop them. The Lord told them to go prophesy, but it was already set that they were going to continue in wickedness and go from captivity to captivity. But Baruch supported him as a scribe, and they described the state that Jake was in during the books of the Lamentations, man, because they were sieged by Babylon, man, nearly starved out, man, by the Babylonians. And during the siege, it was written in the book of Lamentations exactly how fucked up Jake were. And one of the ones I like to go into in particular and relate to the time we're in right now, and are going to go into a time of trouble such as has never been upon the face of the planet Earth, is Lamentations, the 4th chapter. Yeah, because that goes into literally as its title, the stress of the siege described. Lamentations 4:1. How has the gold become dim? How was the most fine gold changed? What's being referred to as gold? The Israelite man. How fucked up are we right now in our current situation? The stones of the sanctuary are poured out on the top of every street. We went from gold being seen as a standard to not even being able to buy like standard gold and silver in this most impure forms in this society. We're fucked as a people, completely through. We have no standing army, no riches, no nation, no land. It's bad, man. That's why we need Yahweh Shai, man. We need a miracle. Only a miracle is going to deliver us out of the state that we're in right now. Hence why the Lord is going to deal with his elect first and foremost. And then, like, you know, the 2/3 are going to have to die on this side and come back, because they ain't going to get right. And we're not going to go through a situation like Moses did in the wilderness, where he's got Korah and them coming up against them, and, you know, like, the people getting zapped because they're having to get killed for worshipping idols, whilst he you know, like, the prophets are out there doing their thing. Moses went up to Mount Sinai to receive the commandments, the 613 plus laws, and that were also inscribed as 10 overarching laws in the stone tablets. And then he was gone for a little while. The people got sick and said to Aaron, yo, your brother, this guy has been gone for too long. Build us a statue from the gold that we took from the Egyptians and let us worship it. And he started worshiping the golden calf. Hey, all I'm going to say is our people have been perpetually wicked. But Jeremiah went from trying to warn them to stop pouring drink offerings onto Tammuz and the Queen of Heaven, because he knew that destruction was going to come. And ultimately, the only protection they had was Yahweh Shai. But ultimately, they continued to go off. Hence why, like he says here, the stones of the sanctuary are poured out on the top of every street. Jake got raped, robbed, and pillaged by all of the nations, man. The precious sons of Zion, comparable to fine gold. How are they esteemed as earthen pitchers? Shitty farming instruments. The work of the hands of the potter. Shitty agricultural working type instruments. And then it goes into the Israelite woman, which, there's a law, not a law, but there's a curse in Deuteronomy 28 that speaks about the state of the Israelite woman in these days, yeah. And it says, even the sea monsters draw out the breast, they give suck to their young ones. Yeah, so even the most, crazy, scary beast that will kill you in a second if it sees you, squeeze the life out of you. Even lions and tigers, yeah, as ferocious as they are, care for their young when they give suck to their young. The daughter of my people has become cruel, like the ostriches in the wilderness, because these women are so incredibly selfish. They'll kill their children and their husbands in order to maintain their figure or be able to go on a girl's holiday and do all of that type of shit. It says, the tongue of the suckling child cleaveth to the roof of his mouth for first. The young children ask bread, and no man taketh it unto them. Fucked. The next generation and the younger generation that, are so-called teenagers right now. Esau calls them that demonic term, the Gen Z babies, or whatever new term he's got. But that next generation, man, those under 30s, they're fucking through, bro. Finished. Majority of them, you might have some elect amongst them, of course, but like vast majority of them, man, they just gotta die, man. You got niggas out here just you got in the UK. We had a guy that was doing pranks on people, running up into their houses, literally just running up into random people's houses and just whipping out phone cameras and filming them for YouTube content. You had situations whereby Jake were throwing they went into shopping malls, run up to the third floor, picked up furniture and just threw it, or was throwing it down on people and pedestrians walking down the ground floor, nearly killing people. You've got situations where Jake are stabbing each other on trains and they can't even literally complete the mission, so I'm missing and hitting people that are innocent, so-called quote-unquote, no one perish being innocent, but so-called innocent bystanders. Jake are fucked. Completely fucked, man. Evil against one another, the brother against the brother. You got situations where the tender and delicate woman has evil eyes against the child of her bosom and her husband. It says, the tongue of the suckling child cleaveth to the roof of his mouth for first. The young children ask for bread, and no man breaketh unto them. You got situations where, due to Esau Edom's manufacturing, of course, but Jacob just taking it and gone all the way left the crack epidemic. You got situations where Jacob just out here just selling crack and cocaine and heroin to their own people, destroying their own communities, man. Because we're fucked as a people, man. And the Lord has given the majority of our people down to these evil spirits. Hence why, even for brothers like ourselves, being awake to this truth, being awake to what's going on, really being sincere and following your Shai, that in itself is a miracle, man. Considering where some of us have started from, where we were in the world. I got raised in a Christian church, man. I got raised in a pagan Christian church. I was out there singing songs of praise on a Sunday when I was young. But, because my mother enrolled me in that shit. But I got out of that through the grace of Yahweh Shai and the mercy that he had. Fortunately, my mother had, had her moments, of course, like most of these so-called black women. But she wasn't as bad as some of these women that are out here now. It says, they that did feed delicately are desolate in the streets. Fucked. They that were brought up in scarlet embraced dunghills. So we went from scarlet, yeah, and being fed delicately to Jake being crackheads and sleeping on the street side and losing their minds to demons. Esau Edom will call it PTSD and ADHD and all of these different 4-letter acronyms. But at the end of the day, it's demons, man. Jacob got demons on them. They went from scarlet, being dressed in scarlet, to embracing dunghills. During the time of Solomon, gold was a stone. The Queen of Sheba saw a servant and thought he was the king. But look at us now, man. Look at us now. Can't even get a cubic zirconia. Like, Jacob fucked, man. And ultimately, we have enough. That's why it's baffling. I mean, of course, it's possible to get rich in Esau Edom's world. You got sellouts though amongst the so-called brethren, man. Men that are off the truth, and they know that this kingdom is fallible. Even if you're a millionaire, your money is getting eroded. Your million might be 500,000 in a couple of years' time, then 250k, and before you know it, you need $1 trillion to survive and rate that this man is devaluing the currency. But it's not gonna get that far because He's going to try and bring in a chip, and ultimately the Lord's going to destroy him. But you live in a world where your money doesn't maintain its wealth. You know, Abraham was rich in gold, cattle, man, servants, land. In this kingdom, people just got stocks and cryptocurrency and NFTs and digital currency. It's fucked out here, bro. We need to get the fuck out of this kingdom. It says, for the punishment of the iniquity of the daughter of my people is greater than the punishment of the sin of Sodom. So the Lord even gave us a judgment worse than what Sodom got. Because Sodom and Gomorrah, they got destroyed speedily, man. And the surrounding cities for the wickedness that they were doing. But us, we've been through the Babylonians, the Medo-Persians, the Grecians, the Romans, this new revived Roman kingdom. And one consistent thing in all of those captivities is there's always been Edomites, man. Trying to do us in, trying to ultimately put the dagger to the heart in, man. But the Lord ain't allowed them to succeed. That was overthrown in a moment, and no hand stayed over on her. Her Nazarites purer than snow. Look at Samson. What happened to him? Ultimately, Samson still got his vengeance on those Hamites. But still, man. One of the greatest stories. There were Nazarites, man. Men that took the Nazarite vow, that were righteous men of valor, man. Men of real high standing and dignity. We ain't got none of them no more. We got Rastafarians now, man. That call out Haile Selassie as the, you know, a man that got killed by a toilet, man. That got killed and had his, I don't know, brothers, you know, brothers have quoted it before, but got killed and got stuffed in the toilet, man. You got, like, their king. Bugged out, man. Completely fucking bugged out. But that shows we're at the end, because you just got these false prophets out here just deceiving and being deceived. And Yahweh Shai did warn, man, in the Gospels, in Matthew the 24th chapter, that it will come false messiahs, man. Falsely prophesying, man. And Nazarites purer than snow. They were whiter than milk. They were more ruddy in body than rubies. Their polishing was of sapphire. Whew. Yo, you had it to where women would bathe in oils and be entrenched in them and made just for you. Like, oh, their visage is blacker than the coal. They are not known in the streets. Their skin cleaveth to their bones. It is withered. It is become like a stick. Fucked, man. You got all these fucking initiatives, UNICEF, the Red Cross, all of this shit, Oxfam. And Jake don't get none of that money. Esau Edom just uses that as a market employee to make himself look like he's doing good, but then he uses it as a money laundering technique to be able to get access to the riches and the wealth of the nations. And ultimately, man, like, nobody's trying to help Jake out here, man. Jake are always the last hired, the first fired, broken down. I was watching a video on the Constitution. You got American Jakes to this day that will still try and claim the Constitution. When the Constitution was being written, they were ripping you apart with horses and calling you three fifths of a man and making you kill each other for sport and whipping roadmaps into people's back, like that with Peter and that. And like, ultimately, even when slaves got so-called quote unquote liberated and they went from chattel slavery to corporate slavery, they reimbursed the slave owners for the money that they lost, but they never paid you nothing. Then you never got your 40 acres and a mule. And even if you did, the Lord's still gonna kill these devils, man. So what the fuck are you niggas that love this place doing? Like, selling yourself short, man. You got Stockholm syndrome, son. And the Lord, at the end of the day, Yahweh Shai is going to deal with you and your master. In Proverbs 11:21, it says, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, man. Esau Edom got to suffer for the wickedness that he's inflicted upon us, man. Isaiah 14:21. Surely, at the end of the day, man, we're going to end it on that, because we've got to make a move in a minute. But man, this man, must be destroyed for the wickedness that he's inflicted on our people. Isaiah 14:21. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. For I will rise up against them, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, the God of Israel, ultimately for all the hell that they put on his people, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith the Lord. So, Babylon is ancient Babylon is in Iraq. Ain't nothing going on over there. What this is a reference to, it's the new Babylon, the daughter of Babylon, man, which we've gone into many a times to be America. The Lord is going to destroy the name of Babylon and the remnant of it, and the son and the nephew. And notice it says the son and the nephew. Why? Because you need the male to continue that offspring. You need the son to or the nephew or the brother to consider continue the offspring. That's why when we went to war against many of these heathen nations, the Lord gave us instructions a lot of the time to kill the men, take the women in captivity, because the women can't continue the seed line, but kill the men. Esau, Edom being so bad, we're gonna take the under the instruction of the Lord. The Lord's gonna tell us to bond the men and the women, man, because us and the children. Not a single Edomite, man, is gonna be left. Not a woman to try and get into a man's ear to incline him to do wickedness. Not a man to try and continue the seed line on the slide. Not a child to try and rise up again, and he ain't even gonna be able to, because we're gonna have the spiritual power. But hey, man, that the whole line of Esau, the men, women, and children, and their situation are gonna be desolated, man. The Lord said he's going to cut off from Babylon the name and remnant, everything. And son and nephew, save the Lord Yahweh. If you're on the shores of America and you're anything but the elect of Israel, it's over for you, man. You're walking charcoal, just waiting to be burnt. I will also make it a possession for the bittern, talking about America. Even the Arabians shall not pitch tent there, those dirty Arabs that will live in filth if they had to. Yeah. It's going to be a land of serpentine type creatures and vultures. I will make it a possession for the bittern and pools of water, and I will sweep it with the besom of destruction, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, man. That's talking about America, man. The land where all tribes were recaptured, man. Similar to where we were in Egypt, man. Hence why America is also spiritually known as Egypt. It's spiritually known as Sodom and Gomorrah. It's the home of all fucking wickedness, LGBTQ plus, and the origin of all of that wicked shit. It's the home of so-called women's rights and equal pay for women and all of this madness that's being pushed out in the society, man. America must needs be destroyed and will be destroyed, man. That's safe the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And we're living in a time where we're gonna witness that, man. The Lord is gonna bring the Lord is gonna bring this place to his knees, man. And ultimately, he's gonna do that for the redemption of his people, Israel, man. Starting first and foremost with his elect. Shalom. Kwame Yashala.